Hello, I'm Paul Sighinolfi, a Senior Managing Director at Amitros, and I'm here today to answer one of the most important questions about a Medicare set-aside account, and that is, how do I protect my Medicare set-aside money? After an injured worker settles his workers' compensation case, he receives the settlement proceeds in one of two ways. That is, it would come to them in a lump sum, a single check would arrive, intended to be put into a Medicare set-aside account, or in the alternative, people who want to protect their funds for a long time would receive their funds through a structured settlement. So a single check would be given to a structured settlement broker. That money would be invested, and the money would be given to the injured worker on a periodic basis during the course of his life. Regardless of how the funds are received, the Center for Medicaid Services has given us a series of points on what you need to do with the funds once received. The first is you must put that money into an interest-bearing account. It is intended to be used only for the payment of future medicals, and when you put it into such an account, you do not commingle it with other funds. You do not put it in with your checking account or with a bank account you already have, but rather it's a segregated account dedicated solely to the purpose of paying future medical. The second thing you do is that you have to pay medical bills consistent with what Medicare would pay for. Sometimes that's a pretty easy call because you know what they paid for in the past, but sometimes it's quite difficult. The advantage to having a professional manager is that they deal with this all the time, and as a result of dealing with it all the time, they know what Medicare would pay for and what they wouldn't pay for. The third thing is that you need to pay for treatment that is directly related to the injury. Again, it seems like that's a pretty simple call. If you injure your knee and you're having medical treatment associated with your knee. However, if you have a knee injury and you develop an infection, and there's a question about whether or not the infection is related, that could make for a more complicated call. What you really need to do is have somebody who can defer to medical professionals and get you an answer on whether or not there's a direct relationship. The fourth thing is that the bills must be paid consistent with any existing fee schedule. So if you're in North Carolina, you pay them consistent with the North Carolina fee schedule. If you're in Maine, you pay them consistent with the Maine fee schedule, or any other jurisdiction that has a fee schedule. One of the difficulties for the individual who's trying to manage their account is finding out what the fee schedule number is for a particular procedure and how you pay that. States have a number of states have fee schedules. Some of them update them annually, some of them update them more frequently. It's a matter of keeping yourself abreast of what the fee schedule changes are within your jurisdiction. The next thing you have to do is you have to prepare and submit on an annual basis how much you have spent for your medical care associated with your injury. You do that in a form, submit it to CMS. You break down how much you spent for medical care and how much you spent for pharmaceuticals. You keep track of that on an annual basis. And the final thing you need to do is keep a running account of all expenses that you have paid, all the expenses you've incurred and paid directly associated with your injury. You do this literally for the lifetime of your case. Now, when cases are settled, insurance companies have been managing the cases sometimes for 5, sometimes for 7 years. But you have to do this if you're self-managing for the rest of your life, as long as the money lasts. And in many instances, if the money is properly managed, it will last beyond your lifespan. Amitros is first in class when it comes to managing workers' compensation, Medicare set-aside funds, and we believe that professional management is the way to go when you're having a Medicare set-aside account.